Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the What the Sheep Podcast, episode 84, where Alana and myself will be discussing, breaking down, and there wasn't really anything to freak out about this episode, so we'll probably just be pretty chill. This will probably just be a pretty, vibin' episode, but we will be talking about Critical Role Campaign 3, episode 30. And on a real note, holy shit! Holy shit. We got a
city on the moon.
There's a city on the moon. Ludinus is back.
Fuck me.
Keyleth's around, chilling. We got a lot to go through and break down. We've got a lot of theories building up. We've got a lot of theories and stuff that were confirmed.
Yes, that was really good.
There was a lot of things, because it's always exciting when there are things that happen in the episodes that we've talked about and theorized collectively.
Yes.
And then they turn out to be true. And it's like, yes, we thought this into the universe, and it came to be. It came to be.
I feel like that's wonderful as well, but it's also, the last two episodes have been exhausting in terms of information overload. I feel like Matt heard people saying that campaign 3 wasn't that exciting or nothing was happening. He's like, hold my dice. And he's like, I'm just going to give them everything. It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
And
these last episodes.
And it has been a lot, but it's not that all of this stuff has come out of nowhere. Like, there has been building. Like, build up for a lot of this stuff that's happening, especially with Ruidus. I mean, you could consider Ruidus being built up since campaign 1, really.
100%. Yeah.
And so getting that was pretty big. There's a city there. I mean, that's just what it appeared to be, because there are still theories going around that it is a prison still. So, do we think that maybe it wasn't a city, that it was more maybe like a facility or something? Like a lab, perhaps? Or something?
I feel like Matt wouldn't have described city.
Yeah.
He would have said buildings, or he would have said, structures. I think he said city because it's a city.
So then,
whether or not that means it's inhabited and that there's denizens, it could just be an old, ancient, what the fuck we don't know kind of city. But I feel like it suggests some kind of life on the moon, or whatever that means.
Right. And so that raises so many questions, because initially I had only thought that it was, a prison. Nothing inhabited the planet. But it's perhaps has civilization on it. Now, that doesn't mean that it's still not a prison.
Yeah. Yes, I still think it is.
But now we have to wonder, who lives there? Is it just other Ruidus born? Is it people who are condemned to the same fate that caused, the god to be imprisoned there? Like, they're worshippers or something? I'm not sure. It's all speculation right now at this point.
It's so good though. It's like the first bit of kind of solid evidence. Like, I know we know Ruidus is weird and stuff's been going wrong with Ruidus, and we also play it up quite a lot on the show. But it's nice to have some confirmation that there is something fucky happening on Ruidus, and we're going to figure out what it is. Hopefully, we're going to figure out what it is.
It's not just all in our head. Not all in our head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, vindication.
Yeah, exactly. But what I want to bring up, I can't remember if this was a theory that we had talked about or a theory that's just been popping up, but I've heard talk of how what if Ruidus isn't even of this plane? Because if Ruidus is able to transcend planes and then appear also in the Feywild, what's to say that that's not also what's happening here in Exandria? Like, what if Ruidus is actually located on a different plane? It's just also entered the material plane the same way as it's entered the Feywild.
And that's kind of how it waxes and wanes a little bit. Sometimes it disappears throughout the year, doesn't it? Like, it's only visible sometimes throughout the year. Ooh, I like that theory. Yeah, where would it be though?
I don't know. then that's the other thing. Like, where then is it actually?
The Abyss, or like... You would think if it's only just kind of starting to appear in the Fey realm, though, and seemingly because... We think it's because, you know, Fern was born under it, and then they moved into the Feywild. Mm-hmm. You would think that it's something to do with, like, the material aspect or within the Divine Gate, but we don't... The only other place is Shadowfell.
Yeah.
But we don't know if Ruidus appears down there. But it's always just been, I think, you know, recognized as being something from the material plane. Like, it just appeared during the founding.
Yeah, and it's likely that is the case, that it is of this plane.
I do like that, though. That's a nice theory.
Mm-hmm. But then it's... Oh, man. They just need to get to... Like, they need to get to Eos so they can learn more about all this stuff. But now... Not to jump ahead, there are still now other things that they still need to do here before they can actually move on.
Yeah, there's
we will,
a lot happening.
We will get to all that, because let's not also forget, our boy Ludinus Deleth is back, working with Odahan, who is a Ruidus born, and this was another theory that I was like, yes, vindication. Like, because I was saying, and you know, we were having this discussion where I was like, okay, if Apogee's solstices are arriving, 100% other powerful mages are probably aware that it's going to happen, so what are they going to do when it happens? Like, maybe there's some kind of a checks and balances of, like, mages, like, powerful mages being like, hey, this is coming up, we gotta make sure everyone's in check, no one's doing some shit. But now, who's obviously not going to adhere to that policy? Fucking Ludinus.
Yeah. Who's going to check in on Ludinus? Yeah, if he's already the top dog, like...
And so, having the confirmation of Ludinus being involved was like, hell yeah. Like, that totally makes sense that he would be involved. But now, why is he not involved independently? Why is he working with Odahan?
Maybe she went to him.
Maybe,
yeah, because if she's the one that's Ruidus born and the one with the interest in Ruidus, maybe she and the Unsealing Court or whatever, they sought him out for kind of, for help, like needing this powerful thing. I saw a really good theory that someone suggested was, with Trent gone, the Volstruckers were probably gone as well. So the Cerberus Assembly needed a new form of assassins. So they used the Grey Assassins. Like, perhaps that's how the connection to the Feywild came in. They're like, oh, well, we need a new form of protection here. I saw that. It was like a little mini theory, which I thought was really neat. But him coming back is concerning, and I can see someone in chat just said, yeah, Logan, saying like how he caused the problem, like the major problems in all campaigns. This guy's been just sitting around for a while, and I'm excited for him to come back and actually, you know...
What was his tie to campaign 1? I mean,
well, he was part of the Cerberus Assembly, and Delilah Barrowwood was the Archmage of Antiquity, and she got fired by the Cerberus Assembly. Which, she's around, she's hearing all this, she's always present. I can't imagine she's not, which is good, at the very least. If Ludinus is our enemy, it might align the party with Delilah in a positive way for a little bit, but...
Enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly. But it's concerning because he is very powerful and very influential. He's also connected to the idea that, what is it? Ashton's surgery, Ashton's repair job was with the liquid, the Laxin liquid.
The Dunamancy potions.
Where did Gianna Hexam get that from? Probably from the Cerberus Assembly, probably from Ludinus. So there's another connection there. This is why we need a corkboard, Nico. I know. Corkboard that I can set up here and we can keep adding things to it. But it is wild how many connections are happening with just this little thing and these little callbacks of previous campaigns.
And that's why, again, I will continue to preach my constant theories, because it feels more and more likely that they're coming true. Like, remember the longest time I was talking about like a second calamity coming around. Maybe that happened.
Let's go.
I've been talking about how campaign 3 may be like the last campaign that they have for live shows, and so, or like for broadcasting, and so they might go all out by bringing in all of the other elements from the previous campaigns for like one final hurrah. Like there are so many different connections, and I know people want campaign 3 to stand alone, but all bets are off. As Marisha said, I think we need, well, again, it's their game, so I shouldn't say we need, but I would say I think it's fair to expect a massive crossover because of all of these different connections from the previous campaigns. Like it's insane
I think
how many direct connections we have.
I'm not sure it would work out like a direct crossover in the sense of like, oh, you know, suddenly this party's there, and or like you've worked with this party, and now this band of famous adventurers are here before you. I think it would be maybe more like, you know, they're dealing with it in their own places.
Yeah, like behind the scenes sort of type stuff, yeah.
Because this was like, I mean, we had a little tiny bit of Keyleth in campaign 2, just with her mother returning, and we see the glimpse of her. This is the first time we've heard her speak outside of any campaign 1 media, which is really exciting. That was not to jump ahead, but I'm jumping ahead. But that was really, really sweet. And it does also kind of like raise the alarm bells for her and potentially other members of Vox Machina or a part of the council even. You've got Allura, you've got Kima, you've got all these other capable people that might take on the job that aren't, you know, the retired leaders of Whitestone or that aren't, you know, businessmen in Marquette. So, yeah, I mean, Vox Machina might technically be disbanded in the sense of they're all retired. But I wouldn't be surprised if there were more kind of little crossovers of, you know, people appearing or hearing word of people doing stuff. I think the more likely crossover is things like the Cobalt Soul and Bo and maybe Caleb and things like Essek or Yusa. We said we wanted Yusa and we got Ludinus. It's not fair.
Not quite, Matt. We were
wrong elf.
Yeah, wrong one. One. But there is still a potential of maybe Yusa coming back around. But yes, the Cobalt Soul definitely.
Like, I'd like to see Yusa not be like a handicap.
Oh yeah,
like he's just like powerful wizard gets himself trapped.
Yep.
It's like, okay, Yusa, come on, show us what you got, sort of thing.
Just shift into your gold dragon form. We know you're a gold dragon. Like, come on.
Yeah, 100%.
Stop playing. But again, with speaking on like crossover and stuff, it definitely seems like Cobalt Soul could be an option. Now, whether or not Bo makes an appearance, because I'm pretty sure she's probably still going to be based in Wildmount. But that doesn't mean the Cobalt Soul wouldn't get involved if, like, widespread news got out that Ludinus was trying to pull some power shenanigans again. Because the Cobalt Soul was a part of that checks and balances in Wildmount.
We don't know the state of the Cerberus Assembly.
That either,
I think Liam said, like, literally as he was talking about Ludinus and talking about Wildmount, said about, like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the king's still in charge, right? Like, and Matt confirmed that. So the King Dwendal's still hopping around.
Yeah.
But we don't know the extent of what's happening with the Cerberus Assembly because they brought that information to the king. But, you know, the Cerberus Assembly are, you know, experimenting on people and, you know, working with Jorhas. Like, what are you going to do about it? There might have been major changes there. We don't know.
So could it be maybe like a bit of a fall from grace that Ludinus is going through? Like he was being put in check, and now what if he's trying to plan like a coup or something? Like now a takeover, like connecting with these Ruidus born.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Well, I mean, that's how the Cerberus Assembly started in the first place, wasn't it? It was a coup. Like, it was a massive mage fight in the city center, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna like kill each other. Let's make a club." I was just looking it up because I was trying to think with the Cobalt Soul. We might see. I had to look up his name, but it's Demid Sunlash. He's the Cobalt Soul researcher of the moons that they met in Uthadern.
Yep.
I would love to see them return because they're the ones that were just like, you know, talking all about Catha, but they had some stuff to say about Ruidus that they did not listen to.
That would be a really fun callback. I mean, and because like the Apogee Solstice is coming around, it's possible that scholar or that Cobalt Soul member is going to Eos.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that'd be the perfect place for them to show up.
Yeah,
let's go.
I wonder if any of the cast would even remember that. I know we will. We will if they introduce themselves as such.
I reckon Marisha and Liam would, at the very least, because they were interested in talking to him. It was just like at the time the moons did not matter.
Nope.
Yeah.
But now they're all.
It'd be good too. Like if he was a gnome living in Uthodurn for a while, it'd be nice if like he and Chetney knew each other as well.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. But we can speak a bit more on the Keyleth stuff because I thought it was really nice. And it was funny during that scene. Like Marisha seemed like confused, am I supposed to respond to this message, or is Matt going to say something? But Matt played Keyleth very well. I thought it was very, very nice, scene. And I was expecting the chat to go more crazy. I mean, our Discord chat went wild. But the Twitch chat didn't seem to. As pumped as I thought.
I guess we've kind of always known it was a likelihood that there would be ascending to Keyleth. I think from a metagaming point of view, they've tried to avoid as long as they could, but it makes perfect sense in this moment for Orym to reach out. But it's also leading into like, I'm just going to point out we've got in our title episode 30, but we're talking about 31 as well.
Yes, we're talking about 31. Yeah. Let me update that right now. Episode 31. Oh, updated.
So it's like we're seeing these little bits of Orym too that we've talked about how this guy's taking on a lot. This guy's got a heavy load. I loved, not to jump ahead, but I loved his kind of, not so much outburst, but just declaration of, hey, we need to, if we're doing this, we need to take it seriously. We need to, work together, be responsible for ourselves and be responsible for each other. He was like, I saw a lot of people saying like, he was just being a strong leader, but I think there was a little bit of rage there. There was a little bit of anger in what he was saying because one, he was scared of what had just happened with FCG, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I think there was a bit of kind of exhaustion from what he was experiencing. He's a great leader for the group, and he keeps kind of putting it on Imogen that she's a leader and that they listen to her, but I don't think he recognizes how much of a leader he himself is. I think if you come from a place where there is a leader like Keyleth, like it'd be hard to view yourself as one. Right. But Orym, he's kind of really taking control of those sorts of things. I like how they pointed out about how he's the sane one. He's the one that hasn't like gone off, but I'm excited for when he does. I'm excited for... Right. Because it'd be very sad, but we can't help ourselves. We really can't help ourselves when it comes to Liam's characters. True,
and we don't really know a whole lot about Orym. To be honest, we know he's from the Arashari. We know that he was married to Will, and now he's on a mission to figure out what these assassins are. Like, we don't really know a lot about his upbringing, like deeper backstory stuff. There could be some layered trauma there, because in Orym's speech he was talking about how every one of them has something that could set them off. Would include himself. There could be something that will set Orym off on something.
I like the theory that Will was Ruidus born and he was the initial target for the attack. And I'm feeling like when they corner the person who was responsible for the attack, Orym might let loose, which cool, I'm down for it. But it could also
give me that angst. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm just reading this chat.
Oh yeah,
she trusts Imogen, but then she did not bring up the other number. Yeah. I'm excited for him. One of my favorite other D&D podcasts, they did a really good thing once where the character was experiencing a lot of kind of negative trauma and just things kept going wrong, and they kept trying to keep an upbeat personality and keep things together, but it was just getting too hard. So they eventually ended up taking a level in Barbarian because they needed an outlet for their rage.
Yeah.
I'd love to see something similar happen with Orym. Like if it's just constantly building up and, eventually lets loose, if they take a level in Barbarian to have an outsource for their rage. It's a bit funny not having a Barbarian in the party. Oh, wait, no, we do. There is a Barbarian. Never mind. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Ashton's a Barbarian. Hold on a second.
Never mind.
That would be a really fun moment, too. If, like, Liam never says that he's taking a level in Barbarian, but then all of a sudden, like, he's gearing up for when he becomes
I would like to
unhinged.
rage.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I would like to rage. Everyone's like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
That'd be great. I was even... Because whenever, like, big moments happen, I try to view it through the context of, like, if it was a live show and, like, how the crowd would react and stuff. And it kind of makes moments more exciting and stuff. Because I'm like, oh, man, the crowd would be going ballistic right now if this was a live show. And there... Definitely the past few episodes, and especially last night's episode, definitely have a lot of very, very huge moments that would, cause a reaction. Should we talk about the FCG shenanigans going down?
Dear Lord, that was like, it was incredible and scary at the same time.
And oh boy, I was also nervous, but I was like smiling the whole time because as soon as like Matt was like, you take 4 points, and then Sam was like, oh no, no, I was like, here it comes, here it comes. Yeah. It was great. It was great. The build up, the going limp. Oh, and I guess to rewind a bit, we can talk about like the dancer message. Because that was what kind of triggered it.
So because there was that first one before they went to sleep where it's just like, leave me alone. How'd you find me? Leave me alone. And it's like, that's not good. That's not the kind of positive reinforcement we were searching for. And then the second one just like,
you know what you did.
That
was like, oh yes.
I think there was always that theory, and like there was always just that thing in the back of my mind that FCG Murderbot did this, but I feel like, for me, I kind of always pulled back a bit because I'm like, but no, but in the memory and image and story of the memory, there was a monster, there was a one-eyed monster, so they fucking got me. They got me good.
Bamboozled. You've been bamboozled.
Yeah, bamboozled big time. So when they like went limp and the points had tallied up, I was like, oh no, this is the precursor to something bad.
Yep.
And trust Travis to push the button.
Of course. Yeah. And it's funny how a lot of them started to see it coming. Because then like when Travis bonked FCG and Sam was like, well, I guess I'll do, and everyone's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And he's like, I guess I'll just buzzsaw him, and everyone freaking out. Oh my god.
So good. I mean, we love PvP.
Yes. Yes.
But just the build up for it, because we always,
I know. Like come on,
Murderbot SCG was just
SCG,
always
snap.
Snap pretty much. Which sounds awful.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrible. It's terrible.
But it's good watching.
Because and we later learned that these points are stress points that FCG's been taking. And this is kind of what we've also talked about, like in previous episodes we discussed how, like, man, what if all of this dumping on FCG is gonna like take a toll on them? Like there's a lot of emotional weight now on FCG with everyone like venting to them and all this stuff. Like what if it becomes too much?
It's part of the empathy. Like I'm wondering if it is part of the empathy domain, this one aspect, or if it's just, I think it's specific just to FCG, the kind of having to take on other people's problems, and they do build up, and they do. And I think when we saw previously when they were getting names mixed up and they were getting information mixed up, you know, and they were kind of like glitching a little bit. I reckon they were right on the cusp of the points. Because I think if I'm looking at it mechanically, what I'm thinking is it's like, you know, 5 or 6 points in a day and you hit it, but when you rest, they reset or something along those lines. Because I can't imagine it's going to be, because they've been taking points for a while. Maybe it's like, you know, 20 points or something, but I want it to kind of seem like something that is more capable of happening again, I guess, because it's interesting. But yeah, because I think they hit 2 points, or they had 2 points and then they hit 4 points from the dancer conversation. So they went right up. So that's in like one day. We don't know until we get the mechanics. We don't know. But
it'd be interesting.
I like this idea of them hitting a cusp and it almost kind of breaking out.
It'd be interesting if it is linked to the domain, or if it's just FCG specific. But it would be interesting if it is linked to the domain. You lose the stress points. You have to talk about your problems and things that are weighing you down as like a way of like releasing some of that stress.
Which they never do.
Which they never do. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that they reached a tipping point. Or it could be linked to their Aormaton kill mode. Where maybe it's like
not enough processing power. Like there's too much information coming in because they're missing the back of their head as well. Yeah. We have to recognize that. Like the hair that they have is like cut wires. They're not quite working at full capacity. But no, that was wonderful. And the fact that too that they were releasing the stress points technically by saying really hurtful, harmful things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was wild.
That was wild. But
no, we also saw Lordnut in this fight.
Yes.
Go a bit dark as well.
Hey.
I think, was that the highest amount of damage done by a player this campaign so far? 50 in one turn?
56 or something? What was it, 50?
It was 50 total.
Oh, 50 total?
Yeah.
That might be. That was a lot.
Yeah. That was a wild spell.
One-shot FCG.
And she felt warmth in her heart as she did it.
Yeah. That's, you know.
Fucking Delilah. Logan, I kid you not, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say fucking Delilah.
But it adds, man, this adds so much more to the scene then, because then Laudna was like, oh shit, like, I almost, like, killed FCG because I let my emotions get the better of me. Delilah's voice, you know, saying some shit. So,
but they had literally just had that conversation with Delilah, saying like, you know, your friends are going to betray you. Like, I'm the only one you can trust, sort of thing. So it was just the perfect maelstrom of bad timing. But maybe the fact that there was another Null Rock involved, like we see that Delilah has taken some more energy from the one that was shattered. We don't know if she knows about the one that's in Imogen's bag, but I imagine she can probably sense it somehow. Which I kind of want to talk about that Null Rock a bit, because I think that was a dick move by Fern. That angered me a little bit. Like, not angered, like, all that sort of stuff, but just like, that's more than chaotic. That's a little evil to do, because we can see that, and I don't think Fern did it to be mean or anything. Right. I think she did it because she knew how much Imogen liked it. But it kind of shows maybe a little bit of, I don't know, what's the word? Like, it was bad. It was inherently bad and affecting her badly. Maybe Fern just wasn't cognizant of that. She didn't pay attention to that. Because it seemed like a thing, like, it's like, you know, it's like if your friend's a recovering alcoholic, it's just like, I'm just going to slip a little drink in for you. Like, it felt a bit like that. I guess Fern didn't know what happened last time, but maybe. But I was just like, oof.
Yeah, no, yes.
And Orym did mention it. He did, like, very quietly in passing say, Fern slipped one of those rocks into your bags to Imogen, but then left. There was no support after that statement. We don't know what Imogen's going
it could
to
be
do.
because was Fern aware that the rock had just broken?
I don't know, actually, now thinking about it.
Because
I'm not sure.
If she at least knew that the rock broke, how much it meant to Imogen, but not knowing what the consequences that were involved with the rock, in her mind, she'd be like, "Oh, her rock was broken."
Could be.
This one.
Could be.
Again, that's speculation because we don't know if Fern actually did know all the details involving the other Gnarl rock that they had.
Yeah, indeed. But now there's another Gnarl rock in play.
Now we got another one. Hey, we got another one. Ready
Don't
for
let Lorna touch it.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. But shifting back to SCG, again, the that opening line of like, I guess I'll just buzzsaw him, and then like everyone like going crazy and stuff. Like I just imagine like that being at a live show and just the riots in the crowd that would start would be so much fun, which is why, man, I wish there was just more live shows, or at least more like theater shows, like in movie stuff. I'm still trying to
get it set up at your theater.
My cinema to play Critical Role Every Thursday.
I just want them to come to Australia at some point. I don't think they've ever been out here as a group.
I don't think so. Are there like big conventions in Australia?
Not really. There's a couple. They're not as big as I think any of the stateside ones, but they could come out. They could just have their own convention.
Exactly.
Just come out for
that's where Traveler Con is.
Yeah,
that's where they'll set up shop.
The only thing is though, it would be swarmed. It'd be impossible to get tickets to.
Oh yeah.
Because if they're doing one show, it's like every critter in Australia would want to go to it. They need a stadium. I'll do a stadium show. We've got big stadiums here.
Wow.
Do a stadium show. I'm going to email. I'm going to send an email off to our contact. I'll send an email off to our script contact.
That would be insane, actually. That many people going up. But yes. So all of that with FCG, but then what were some of the things that he said? He rolled up to Chetney and was like, "Why don't you just shut up?"
Why don't you just shut up?
I was like, okay.
That was pretty fun.
But it seems like
calling out her parents. Like, your parents don't love you.
Yeah.
You were never alive to Lordna.
Oh, that's the one that got me the most. So it was like as FCG was dying, going unconscious, they just had to get that last little bit out.
Yeah.
You were never alive.
So good.
Good. It's the angst I want. Adam's been asking if I'm happy. Yes, I am. I am.
We're very happy. We're very happy. Thank you for asking.
That was the angst that I have been waiting for. Because it's like, I mean, yes, it was sad. Everyone broke down. Everyone's got some trauma now, but it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. It was worth everything to me. But that's just me personally. Everyone here already knows that I love angst here. That's what I'm all about here. And
it feels us.
It was very cathartic.
We need to feel sad while watching Critical Role. That's what we need.
And now everyone's on edge. Exactly. But then
this makes that's why we're happy.
Yes. It makes for more interesting story. Like it's for me, an interesting story involves heartache, angst, trials, tribulations. All of that stuff makes for good character growth.
The rise up out of that is so. My favorite word is cathartic. It's cathartic and it feels good.
Yes.
And if it doesn't rise up, you can sit with that angst. It's with you forever.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Exactly. Because now the payoff of when they come back together and things are resolved is going to be that much better. It's gonna be so good. And now I couldn't wait for the angst, and now I can't wait for the resolution. of all of this stuff that happened, because it makes that even better. Makes it even better. I'm all about payoff. Yeah. The lows and the highs, as long as it makes sense and it's not, the lows just for the sake of having lows. And I don't think this was the case here. Like we knew potentially something like this was going to happen, like a tipping point, boiling point would be reached, and then boom, something bad was going to happen. It's just a matter of like who, what's the context of the situation, what actually happens. And so now we got it, and now there is I don't even know if it's a clear path that they're on right now. They have options.
Clear's not the word.
No,
clear's not the word, but there is a path in front of them.
There's a path somewhere. That they have to find. Would be a better way to say it. But hey, we can't forget Treshy. Treshy's still around. They can't forget Treshy. That motherfucker.
What's his face is going to be upset if they don't get Treshy. I can't remember his name.
Lord something back in Drusar.
I keep thinking Isocross, which is it's not Isocross.
Yeah, Lord Isocross.
Esteros.
Yep, Lord Esteros, that guy. Yeah, doesn't really matter anymore. Because now they're in it. Like originally, like Esteros was their key to, the upper echelons of society and stuff. But now they don't even need that. They are in the thick of things.
They need it. Who needs it?
They don't need Esteros anymore.
They've got more answers from Bassaris than they did at the universities in Drusar. Like
they were in Drusar for like what, a week in game, and fucking nothing was learned. Nothing was uncovered. They've been in Bassaris for what, 3 days? And all hell is broken loose. Ruidus is a fucking prison. FCG's a killer bot. It's
Oh, Adam makes a really good point though. Treshy is their meal ticket to a free trip to Eos. They need that ship because I don't think they're going to be able to walk there in time and walk back.
No, they won't.
But they could get mounts. They've got the crawlers, the canyon crawlers, whatever they call them. That's true.
But I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know if those are going to be fast enough. If time is of the essence, they might have to play nice. What the Paragons call to get that airship there. It is probably their best bet. But I think they're going to talk to Dancer first, which is also really interesting.
Yeah. But you got to think, as soon as they engage with the Paragon's call in any way, they're opening themselves up to Otahan, and we can presume that Otahan would have some knowledge of Imogen, and now Fern as well. Like, Otahan's not just going to overlook the fact that there is a satyr, wandering in. Meanwhile, they're looking for a satyr from the Feywild.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe she can just sense me with a Ruidus born. She's like, oh, a Ruidus born satyr. That's odd. Like, who are your parents?
Yeah, and now we also have to always expect, or at least plan for, Ludinus maybe just popping up somewhere.
This dude,
anywhere.
This fucking guy.
Like, what if Ludinus is in Eos also?
Oh man, yes.
It's not Yusa. Like, as we were saying, it's not Yusa that's waiting in Eos, it's Ludinus. My god. Like, there's...
Yes.
I agree. I wonder who took over the Archmage of Antiquities on the Assembly. Like, I wonder... I don't think they would be involved, but...
No, but Antiquity, it's kind of the big deal. What's happening.
It is.
Oh,
gotta
man.
fill this shit. Gotta fill it. But how do we feel the conversation with Dancer is going to go? Because we might get more information on where FCG was picked up.
Yeah, I think so. I think if we can
to them.
I think if we can get that kind of information and learn about FCG's role in her group, would be really good, because it's obviously seems to be like, when they take on too much, that's when they break.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to know more information about their role in that group. I'd love to know about, where did SCG come from and what modifications did you kind of make? because there could be some aspect of that. I think it's going to be a hard conversation to have, because I think if they in any way let on that they're with FCG, it's going to be very much like, oh no.
Yeah, and I wonder how capable like Dancer and the other companions were, because if FCG was able to just single-handedly massacre all of them, either their stress like reached a very terrible tipping point where they actually were like, I don't know, even more powerful than they were in this state, because it seemed like
they're moving fast.
Yeah, FCG was getting bonuses in this. Like, it seemed like they were
it's the advantage of attacks and things like that.
Definitely.
I think also they might have been sleeping when the attack happened.
Oh yeah, that's also fair. And I wonder what and I wonder what happened then to set them off. And that's the other big question, because I wonder if they will actually ask Dancer about the attack.
I think maybe Dancer was talking to FCG during the night of the attack, and things were revealed or things came up that overloaded the stress points. We haven't even talked about Ira. We haven't even talked about the goddamn Nightmare King.
Ira,
stealing the crown and messing with Fern's parents for 6 years.
Yes, let's bring it back. Bring it back, yeah.
Why am I a dummy? Why did I, for like a smidgen of a second of the past couple episodes, think, oh, Ira's not that bad, actually? Like, not, okay, he's bad, but thinking like, oh, Ira might be a useful kind of grey ally that they can rely on somehow.
Yeah.
Why did I think that? Why did I think that at all? I would die in the Feywild. I would go and be like, hey, I'm Alana, and just shout my name out to everyone and like instantly be dead.
Yeah, Ira is a bastard man, for sure.
He's a bastard man. Yeah. Oh, Lord. What a dick.
Yes, literally, seriously. And then like all of the vague talk of like, because remember when they were looking at Ruidus and stuff, and then they were all of a sudden like looking at it and like moving around and stuff, like that will go everywhere. This mysterious they that he was talking about, and then Wallow forcing the telescope again so they couldn't see what Ira was trying to find. Listen, I can fix him. I still have hope for Ira. I can fix Ira. I do understand that Ira is definitely a very chaotic individual, but hell, I like him.
He's still very
I kind of like him. And maybe it's just the way Matt plays him, and like the voice and everything, but I
think Matt was born to play Fey creatures.
Yeah, and I think it's also because Ira knows who they are. They know they know their capabilities. They know the fuckery they're involved in, and they own it. They own that shit. They're not trying to lie to anyone, and they're not trying to sugarcoat anything. They are who they are, and I think that's
lying. They're just withholding.
Yeah. That's great. Did we learn nothing from Okay.
That's a funny quote.
That's different.
Maybe we can fix him. Maybe we can change Ira.
That's different. Asmodeus is the Lord of the Hells. Ira. Okay, listen, the Nightmare King is a pretty metal moniker, but I don't know. I just feel like but yeah. So didn't maybe this was in a previous episode? But didn't Ollie think that Fern was only like 14 years old or something? All the again timey-wimey shenanigans that were going on.
I think, and there's timey-wimey shenanigans with Morrigan doing like sending time.
Yep.
But then there's also the fact that it was revealed that they were having their memories messed up by Ira.
Yeah.
Like it's like potentially any time they disagreed with what he was doing, or they felt like they didn't want to work with him or anything like that. There was just smeared memories, which is what I think we've seen when there are modified memories have occurred. That's how Matt's described in the past.
He knew he needed Ollie and Birdie to complete this telescope.
Because they needed the weave lens.
Yeah.
Which I know people were bad about it, but it was my favourite moment in the episode was Ashton smashing the weave lens.
Yeah.
It was
good.
I think it was a little bit, and it's not a criticism because I do it all the time, but it was a little bit of metagaming from Talison's point of view of, oh, well, if it's a magic item, it won't break, and that's just comment of like, depends on the enchantment. Talon goes, yeah, interesting. Like, it was my favorite moment, and like I'm not anywhere near mad at Ashton because I thought it was an amazing move.
Oh yeah.
Just be like, I'm just gonna check if it's still magic. Oh.
And it's broken. Oh, and you smashed it to pieces.
That's so fucking funny.
No, but like moments like that are good, like tension breakers, or just like something that just like, okay, like it allows us to take a breath. Like there's all of this information being thrown at us. There's all of these like just high tension, and then something like that can just break it for a few moments, let people relax their minds for a moment. So I do think moments like that are needed and necessary for a story. But why then was Ira so desperate to have something like this constructed? Like, what stake does Ira have in Ruidus stock?
We don't know. He just likes building things, apparently. Like, he's...
True. Maybe that's just their true calling.
He's the Nightmare King. Like, there's...
But then who's this they that he's talking about? It's not just the Unseelie Court, is it?
I want to think maybe he was looking at the Paragon's Call and looking at Otahan during that scene.
Maybe.
Because we know that Otahan and Ludinus and the Unseelie Court were the ones involved with the contraption within the Unseelie Court at the time. And then Ollie and Bertie stole the crown. He's like, well, I'm just going to follow the money, pretty much. Like, I'm going to follow the crown. Oh, man. And now he has the crown, and New's coming back in 29 days for the crown, which they promised them.
Yeah. That's right. Dusk was a character that we have to remember about, and that whole deal that was made. There's just been way too much, and I feel like thinking now back to Orym's comment of "I'm trying, Dad, I'm trying." When Orym was like trying to keep the group together, it's like I'm trying to keep it together now with all of this other stuff with all this stuff that's going down. But that was a very sweet, but also like slightly heartbreaking comment that Orym made of like, I'm trying, Dad. I'm doing my best here. Give me your strength.
I have to look it up to remember it because there was another instance in this episode, something minor that I'm thinking is going to become a big thing, and it was the when Ashton settled down and took out the helmet of Hishari from the bag and was just staring at it.
Yeah.
I want to hear people's theories on this. Like, what's going on with this? Because what we know about the helmet of Hishari, this is the lore drop we got when they were in the museum. It was a set of armor from a settlement or a town or something. It was in Isilra, and it was a cult that worshipped the elements. They were kind of like the Ashari, but extreme and cultish in their behaviors. And then they just disappeared. They just ceased. There was like no survivors, or maybe one survivor is the thing. I think there was no survivors. But the only thing we have from it, I'm just double checking here, Shari. No, that's Ishanai. That's the wrong thing completely. The one thing we know about it, no survivors. The one thing we know about it is that Ashton had a familiar sense to it, had some kind of vague recognition of this armor. So what's happening there? Like, is Ashton from that place? Like, we don't have a timeline of this, but this is like, how old's Ashton? Early mid-20s? How long ago was this cult destroyed? We're talking about elemental kind of
again, if it
things.
Is elemental, we do know that, Ashton's obviously an Earth Genasi, based in the elements. That could be a potential connection. But that is an interesting idea to bring up, is what potential connections does Ashton have with this cult? Is it bloodline related, perhaps? Is Ashton actually super fucking old? Or maybe is the Dunamantic magic having an effect on their memory?
Well, yeah. I feel like...
Yeah.
Like, sorry, that sounded really dickish. Yeah, no, I think so. I think 100%. I'm excited too though, because it feels like there's a lot of stuff happening with the Silver as well. We've had like some Vasselheim mentions.
Oh, yeah.
If this was like a thread for Silver, I wouldn't mind visiting a Silver at some point too, because, excuse me, we've only had very small bits of that continent from Campaign 1. Like, Vasselheim was obviously a major part of Campaign 1, and a little bit of the Fire Ashari were in Silra. So, oh, and I guess they did go to the north of it too. I want to see more of Silra, is what I'm saying. I want to see more of that continent and kind of see if there is some connection to this thing. I don't think Matt wouldn't have made the comment of it being a familiar site if it weren't important. I want to know. I want to see. And the fact that it's like on Ashton's mind for them to take it out and stare at it is also interesting too. It's another little. It's like that's Tal pulling on the thread. That's like, oh, I'm interested in this thread and where it might go. Yeah, I'm keen. There's so much happening. Literally,
every single character has some like stake in what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Except maybe Chetney, actually. Unless maybe his werewolf shenanigans is connected to Ruidus or something.
Yeah.
But everyone else...
He's got the Gorgonite.
Yeah,
Gorgonite, got them to go visit.
But who knows when they'll even be able to do that shenanigans, because we've got Laudna with Delilah, and then also connecting that to Ludinus. We've got FCG with being a killer bot from Aor. We've got Fern, obviously heavily connected with all of the shenanigans that's going on, because she's a frickin' Ruidus born, it turns out. Imogen, obviously, with the dreams and the powers in Ruidus. Orym was
his partner
affected by these Grey Assassins and stuff. Ashton being connected with this Dunamancy stuff, which is connected to Gianna, which is also connected to Ludinus. There's bits and pieces all connected together.
Meanwhile, Dorian's off in Kyle, super fucking rich.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Having the time of his life. Probably paid off his brother's bounty by now. Just having a great time.
Yes. And then so and Keyleth can send word. So and then this is where my big crossover. And again, when I say crossover, I don't mean that I think, again, like Vox Machina or members of the Mighty Knight are going to come in. I think it would be more behind the scenes stuff. Like maybe Keyleth contacts the beginning. It's like, I've got my friends doing these certain things to help out. I don't think they would actually make a direct appearance or anything like that. But obviously, yes, if this world-ending stuff with Ruidus becomes more of an issue, I think it would make sense for Keyleth to send word to Allura. Again, like you were saying before, the Council, Allura, maybe other members of Vox Machina. If Ludinus is directly involved, we know how Caleb feels about the Cerberus Assembly. It's possible he is still keeping a close eye on Ludinus and stuff. Finds out Ludinus is trying to do some shit. I wouldn't be surprised if he attempts to do something. Maybe calls in Essek, maybe calls in Bo and the Cobalt Soul to do something here. So I definitely see behind the scenes stuff happening. With other
Allura tells Yusa. Like, Allura and Yusa were friendly.
Yeah. Let's
get it.
So I am excited for the potential of all of these different major players coming into it. But also, we have to consider that the Bell's Hells are very low level. So I'm wondering if all of this stuff that's happening is actually just setup, and we won't actually get most of this stuff to be fulfilled for a little while. At least a month for when the Apogee Solstice happens.
Might be a very slow month. Like, slow in the sense of, like, multiple episodes. There's going to be no speed up.
Which then, because then I wonder, like, how... It's interesting, because then...
They need a friendly elf wizard to teleport into Eos.
Exactly. or they need powerful allies, because if there is some kind of like climactic battle that happens, if they don't have allies, they could lose, depending on who's there. Because while they are capable, they are strong, if they encounter these Grey Assassins or Ludinus is there or something, they don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance.
Even Odahan is like a war hero, like massive kind of strength and skill behind her, and the Paragon's core, like a literal army of mercenaries. It's hard to see the Bell's Hells opposing those forces and being successful in direct combat. It might have to be, you know, more sabotage than anything else. But we still don't know. We literally still don't know what is going to happen at the Apogee Solstice. Yeah. We can theorize based on, I mean, we've only got previous content to theorize, but if you look at the last Apogee Solstice we saw in streamed content, it was a release of things. There was, you know, the massive power surge, a release of multiple things, realistically, in Calamity. So, you know, we can theorize that too. We still don't know what the fuck is happening with Ruidus. We've got our theories, and I think they're pretty safe and sound.
Yeah, I agree.
But we don't know. The confirmation that I loved it, that the weave they saw around Ruidus was reminiscent of the Divine Gate. It has to be a prison. It has to be. The Divine Gate was designed by the what are the good gods called?
Prime deities.
Prime deities. It was designed by them. So it makes sense that the gods putting something in a prison would use the exact same kind of magic. Like, God, I need to know. I want to go to Yeos myself and read those papers.
Yes, and let's not forget, as Storyboy saying in chat, Lady Broward uses Celestial Solstice to open the Vector portal. Maybe Delilah is also planning something for this Apogee Solstice, like an even bigger solstice coming up. So, stress.
Was it the Apogee Solstice when Vecna ascended, or was it? Oh no, this was in that. No, because wasn't it? It wasn't the deal that when they tried to open the portal in the ziggurat, it was too early. It wasn't at the solstice yet. Isn't that correct? Am I misremembering that? Because I thought it was too soon, and they're like, we need to do it though because this group is here to destroy us. And it wasn't until a year later, during the actual solstice, that Vecna ascended. So, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I think that is right. At the very least, the first part was right. But yes, the Briarwoods did it early because they had to. They were pressured by Vox Machina, essentially hot on their heels.
Right. And that was, Vecna was like, you fool, you fucked it up.
Yeah.
Gave you a very direct timeline on this, and you fucked it.
Yep. So, but now Delilah seems to be only in it for herself. Yeah. So
it would have been a celestial solstice, not an apogee solstice. It's every couple hundred years.
So who knows what she can accomplish with an apogee solstice? She's obviously absorbing energy and power through various means, gearing up for something.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been. Well, she probably wouldn't have been alive during the last apogee solstice, or if she, I have to figure out the ages. She would have been very young. Yeah. Oh, that's exciting.
But we gotta wait a month. A month in game time.
Yeah.
For all this stuff, and we have to wait 2 weeks for the next episode.
Oh.
They're gonna be taking last week off, free. Every month. It's always when it's climactic. It's actually crazy how often that the break happens when there's
It might be good though, because honestly there's so much happening.
Oh yeah, yes. We do need that week to process all of the information we've gotten, everything that's happening with all the characters. So much. With all that being said, is there anything else people want to bring up? Is there anything else that needs to be talked about?
That's everything we forgot.
Or is that?
I mean,
how is everyone else doing? I guess let's start there. How is everyone else feeling about all of this stuff? Feel free to answer that. I feel like I can guess what everyone's general feelings and sentiments are, because it's been a lot. It's been a lot, but it's also what we asked for. You know, we asked for this.
Yes,
this is the grave we dug for ourselves. Yeah. So,
Oh Lord.
I don't have any complaints, but it is a lot. But I'm happy.
Yeah. No, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Oh yeah, Fern's talk with her parents, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So many things coming on. They should visit a tech person who can make a remote control for FCG. They can shut him down when he snaps. That's true, because now they have to figure out stuff for FCG and all that. It's nuts.
I did love in that scene though when FCG was hanging down and Fern said, "I just want to get inside of you," and it's like, no, that's not cool.
Yeah,
like
slow down.
FCG's a person.
Right.
Man,
it's a lot. But I suppose if there is nothing else to bring up, we can go ahead and call the episode there. So, everyone, take a deep breath.
Exhausted.
Take a massive breath, and let it out. Don't forget to breathing exercises, everyone. Calm. The stress is at its peak. Let's take this week off to decompress and relax. So, as always, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone who tuned in for the live stream, everyone who's going to be watching this on the YouTube upload or Apple or Anchor, or wherever else this podcast may find itself, Spotify. Thank you all so much for showing your support. It definitely means a lot to us. If you are looking to support us further, be sure to follow us on Twitter at WhatTheSheepPod on Twitter for updates on when we go live, if we have to miss a week, all of that stuff. Be sure to follow us there. And also be sure to check out our website, whatthesheeppod.com. Links to those are in the description down below, as well as our own socials. So be sure to check those out. Give us a follow. It means a lot to us when you show your support. Yeah, thank you as always. And of course, don't forget to love each other. Spread the love to everyone you meet, everyone you see. But most importantly, don't forget to love yourself. That is the most important thing you can do. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Drink some water, eat some food, get plenty of rest. I am proud of you. Thank you for being here again. And so, everyone, with all of that being said, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, wherever you may be on this glorious earth. And we will see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.